Today's land manager has a whole list of mineral products and supplements at his disposal, but most are really nothing more than salt-based products that, while they will attract deer, they're not doing a whole lot for a deer's or the herd's health. So we set out to create Maximizer to be different than anything else on the market. We want to keep that attractiveness that the other products have, but we also want to provide the nutrients that the deer needs to be healthy and grow those giant racks that all hunters are looking for. For more than 20 years, I've personally had a small herd of captive whitetails where I've done research specifically on nutrition and genetics. But even with that experience, I didn't feel qualified to, develop a new product to take to market. But I combined what I knew with the knowledge of 3 professional livestock nutritionists. We brought them on board, teamed up with them, partnered with them, and they were instrumental in the development of Real World's Maximizer Deer Mineral. There's other companies out there that claim to have veterinarians and livestock nutritionists on board with the development of their products, but when it gets down to it, we really never hear the names of those people. Well, here at Real World, we're willing to show you our nutritionists and introduce you to them. And here today with me is one of those, Dr. Aaron Gaines.
I'm Dr. Aaron Gaines. When we developed Maximizer Deer Mineral, we really had 3 mineral supplementation goals in mind. First and foremost, we wanted to meet the nutritional requirements of the animal. So we actually ground up deer antler and based the product formula off the chemical composition of that deer antler to ensure the optimum balance of key minerals. The second mineral supplementation goal was to maximize intake of the minerals. In order to do that, we actually used proprietary ingredients that maximize intake of those key minerals. Our third mineral supplementation goal was to ensure timely delivery of the mineral. Maximizer is a very easy to use product. It's put out in the spring months when does and bucks need the mineral the most.
The best place to place the mineral is in the cover, so the deer are comfortable being up on their feet in daylight hours. So get it in some thick cover, close to bedding area. If water's nearby, that's a good thing as well. But in the cover more than in the open.
Typically what we do is we spread 20 to 50 pounds out in a 4-foot diameter circle, and then each month we'll come back and freshen that mineral site up and check trail camera pictures, etc. And again, do that every 30 days to keep that mineral lick freshened up for the deer.
One thing I noticed in my limited studies with my captive deer herd and the nutritional studies that I did was that some of these ingredients, these minerals, and other nutrients needed to be in certain ratios to each other. And it's pretty common knowledge among whitetail gurus that calcium and phosphorus, for example, need to be in a 2-to-1 ratio. In other words, you need 2 times as much calcium as you have phosphorus. But those same ratios applies to a lot of the other nutrients. And those nutrients are all in the proper ratios in Maximizer.
Well, there's a lot of products on the market that do have a high salt content, and salt is a nutrient that the deer needs, but salt alone is not going to grow antler. And so that's important as you select a deer mineral product to make sure that it meets the nutritional requirements of that deer and has all the minerals, particularly the ones that are needed in that antler. And salt is a great attractant, and you can get a lot of great pictures by using a salt-based mineral product, but if you're really focused on antler growth, you need to consider those other minerals.
There's a debate among deer hunters as to whether a mineral really works, really helps your deer herd. And to that I have a great response. If you look at the cattle breeders across the country, whether they're dairy cattle farmers or beef cattle farmers, every single one of those guys uses a mineral product for their cattle herds. That's how important they are. There's all kinds of benefits to giving mineral to your animals. It increases conception rates, growth rates, health, and the list just goes on and on. So all the studies that have been done and proven with cattle can carry right on over to the deer. Now, the captive deer breeders, if we take a look at them and what they're feeding their animals, there's not a one of them that I know, and like I said, I've been in this business for over 20 years, there's not a single one of them that I know that's using any of these products marketed to hunters on their captive deer herds, because they're basically salt-based products that are not doing any good as far as herd health or antler growth. But Maximizer is, in fact, being used by some of the world's leading deer farmers. In fact, one of the most well-known and a pioneer in the industry is the Fleece family from Wisconsin. The fleece family was the first family to ever grow a 300-inch buck in captivity. In fact, they grew the first 2 300-inch bucks in captivity. And here's Shorty Fleece of the Fleece family and Wilderness Whitetails in Wisconsin to share some of his thoughts on Maximizer Deer Mineral.
I'm Shorty Fleece. I'm one of the owners of Wilderness Whitetails. My family's been in the deer breeding industry for about 40 years now. We started in 1977. We were the first people to have 300-inch deer. One year we had 2 of them, the first 2 ever, and so we've been growing big deer for a long time. That was back in the 90s. And since then we had several years ago we had a buck called Sudden Impact, a very famous buck. He was a 281-inch yearling, first set of antlers. As a 2-year-old he was 406, scored 406. So we've had some giant deer, had a couple deer pushing 500 inches over the years. So yeah, we're all about big deer. Now I've planted the real world, clover and chicory plots in our pens, in our deer pens, for years as well. I've planted all the real world food plot products, So it's I've just had really good luck with them and truly believe in them. You get what you pay for, and you get a lot with the real world. Like I said, we're all about big deer up here, and so not only do we focus on the genetics, but I'm personally try to feed them the absolute best I can. And I've tried a lot of the products out there. I mean, I've tried all the minerals, I plant all the food plots, seeds, I've tried them all. Talking to Don, I tried the Maximizer Mineral, and not only is it well formulated and has everything in it that the deer need, but the deer actually love it. And that's what I struggled with in the past. A lot of them are a lot of salt, and the deer will eat them, but this one, they actually crave it. I mean, I was shocked going out and finding, where I pour the mineral out, to find it, it gone in a week, a week later. And I was shocked at how well they eat it. We're focused on the health of the deer, 12 months out of the year. So I feed the Maximizer Mineral year round because it's, I mean, they're only growing antlers for 3 to 4 months of the year, but their bodies, you're building that body for 12 months out of the year. So that's where, a lot of people only put mineral out, in the, spring or summer. We use it year round, 12 months out of the year, because it's critical.
I'm personally convinced that there's no other deer mineral product on the market that's went through the testing and development that Real World has. Others may make claims, but we back up those claims. If you're not happy with the mineral product you're now using, or even if you are happy, I challenge you to take the Dare to Compare Real World Challenge. Keep using what you're using now, but try Real World's Maximizer right next to it and see the difference for yourself. Let the deer show you which they prefer.